Austin, this is Steve with Empire Industries. Today we're going to talk about how do you know when is the right time to evict your tenant. Listen, we all know that this can be a very stressful time when you're trying to evict a tenant because you may not do this too often. Hopefully you don't. And when it happens, obviously we always go to the worst case scenario. How long is the tenant going to stay? Are they going to do damage? How much money am I going to lose? How long is this going to take? And you always think about that. And remember, there is a process for an eviction. Even though it can seem like a horrible experience, it is just a process and a procedure, and that is part of owning a property. So first thing you want to remember is it always helps when you pick the right tenant. So I've gone through this, I've talked about this many times. You got to pick the right tenant, right? And you got to make sure your lease is correct and your lease is enforceable and that you have abided by the lease as much as you want them to abide by the lease. So that's another thing. But when it comes time to when do you evict them, again, you always want to evict for non-payment of rent in our experience. So for example, if you have a tenant that's not paying their rent, you go back to the lease agreement. Most lease agreements say that rent's due, let's say it's due on the 1st of the month is pretty standard, and then it's late on, let's say, the 3rd of the month. So it's due on the 1st, it's late on the 3rd, and eviction normally starts on the 4th of the month, late fees and stuff like that. So we recommend that you stick to the lease agreement. If the lease says that the process starts on the 4th, that's when you do it. That's when you actually start the process to evict the tenant. Don't wait, don't talk to the tenant, don't let them change your mind. Send out the notification of 3-day notice to pay or vacate. Then you send out the notice via certified and via email, I recommend, and charge the late fees. No matter what, if the lease agreement says charge late fees, you charge the late fees. Then you have 3 days, 72 hours for them to pay or quit, meaning they have to pay the money due or they have to quit the lease, meaning they have to leave the premises. If that doesn't happen, that is when you go to court and you file the forcible detainer. Once forcible detainer is filed, that is when you get a court date. Constable or sheriff will go and knock on the door, let them know they are being evicted. That's normally when you get the phone call from the tenant telling you all the problems and everything. My opinion, unless they have all the money, court costs, and late fees, do not accept any money. Because if they pay you $500 out of $1,000, $2,000 rent, when you go into court and you're evicting them for $2,000 of unpaid rent, but they've already given you $500, guess what? You're no longer evicting for $2,000. You're evicting for $1,500. The numbers don't match and the case will be dismissed by the judge, chances are. So our recommendation is do not accept anything except full funds. If they do not pay by the time court happens, then you will win the judgment probably. And then from there, the judge will give them a certain amount of days to vacate the premises. If they don't vacate the premises, you go back to court, you get what's called a writ of possession, where the constable will go back and actually have them removed from the premises forcibly. And again, even though it sounds scary and it sounds emotional, it's not. It's just part of the procedure. A lot of this can be stopped or not happen if you pick the right person on the front end. But if you don't and you happen to have to evict the tenant, just remember, there is a process and a procedure for this. We do it all the time. If you'd like to talk to us, we can walk you through how to do it. It's not a problem. If you want us to manage the property so you don't even go through this and don't have to learn about this, that's another option as well. But you do have options. Remember, it is a business. You got to treat it like a business. If you want to give us a call and see how we can help you with that, we are here in the Austin market. We love working with investors, owners of properties, helping them out of these situations. Just give us a call. We'll give a free consultation. We want to help you and see what we can do best. So this is Steve with Empire Industries here in Austin. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.